right?
Get all that out of your
Well, yeah,
system.
let's get it out now. Top of the morning to you folks. It's a Saturday morning here at Aiken State Park. We survived our first freeze, because remember, it didn't even freeze back up in Asheville, but it froze here. This is a long overdue video we're doing for you today. This is something that I've kind of been wanting to do, but we just haven't had an opportunity to get it done. We're going to show you the aluminum Falcon from nose to butt, and all the details that we can give you and not lose your interest completely. The Falcon is a 2019 Rockwood Mini Lite 1905G. This is the only one-axle model in the Mini Lite line. Well, I say is, I guess I should say was, because the week before we bought this model, Rockwood discontinued it. They moved this concept to the GeoPro line, so anything that's one axle now is now in the GeoPro line. Everything in the Mini Lite line is two axles. So that said, it is 3,300 pounds and change dry, and has a cargo capacity of a little over 1,000 pounds, and I'll put the exact details down here somewhere. So that means that it's 4,400 pounds if you really max it out. Let's start back here at the back. This is city water connection, which we're using because we're on a campsite water system. This is your antifreeze inlet if you winterize, and of course we will probably never ever have to worry about that living here in the swampy south after it got to 30 degrees last night. Ladder came with it, which is a big help, and I'll walk up here with you in a little while. I'll show you what all's up there. Came with a spare. Didn't come with these are ours. LED brake lights, marker lights. It's rigged for a backup camera. It's already wired. We just have to install it, and I would love to have one, but quite frankly, with all we've done so far, we ran out of money. So that's a project for another day. Here we have our dump station outlet. This is black tank, which you guys know we've learned about that the hard way. Gray water, all come out of here. Cable satellite hookup, 30 amp power, which we keep on a surge suppressor. We believe in that. You never know what kind of power flow is coming from a campsite power station, so that's, you know, $100 to $200 to $300 depending on how good a one you get, but it's an investment and it's one everybody should make. It's almost like car insurance. You may not ever need it, but Lord, you'll be glad if you have it. Water tank fill up. If you go boondocking, here's where your water tank gets filled up. We have not done that yet. We haven't worked up the nerve to go boondocking yet. Black tank flush. This is where you can hook up a water supply and it will actually spray into your black tank. And there are nozzles in the black tank that will help flush it out while you're in the dumping process. And get it back in there. There we go. Get it cleaned out even better than just flat dumping it. Here's our furnace exhaust. Let me tell you a story. We were told when we bought this to be sure to get these little doohickers and install them. These things are, I think they were like 10 bucks, and they took a little bit of dexterity to get installed, but we did get them installed. But we were told that this is $10 and a little bit of time, as opposed to if dirt daubers ever get in there and build a nest and it costs $200 something to get some RV maintenance guy to come out and clean it out. So we did that just to be sure. And down here in the south, dirt daubers are a possibility. So outside shower, this has been a big help too. show you, but it's hot and cold water. External shower. This has been a big help. We actually wash dishes out here sometimes to avoid filling up the gray tank. It squares away pretty easy too. That's been a big help. Okay. These storage compartments, because this unit has a Murphy bed on the inside, and Jesse will show you all that a little bit later, we do not have a pass-through storage system, which I really, really wish we had. Instead, we just have the compartments. Now, the compartments they're okay size. We've got one on each side, and then we've got one on the back on the other side. So I've kind of designated one for electric, one for water, and one for sewer. I am not a fan of these lousy cam locks that came standard on here. I've already changed these out once, and what I changed them to are not much better than what came on it, so I'm still looking for a better solution, but it is what it is until I can make it better. But tongue weight on this thing is 400 pounds and change. Again, I'll give you the exact number down there. Power tongue jack. I'm too old to be jacking this thing up and down manually. A 7-pin connector, of course, to go into the umbilical on the tow vehicle. 20-pound propane bottles. Two 20-pound propane bottles. Auto switch. Good little shroud on there. I sometimes have to struggle getting this thing off. Single battery. It has room for a second if I were to slide over, and I may do that at some point, but we're only using this so much, so I haven't gotten that far. Like the diamond plate here that protects it from rocks kicking up. I also like this nose cap on the thing. I like this. This is automotive glass. Really can't see it all through it from the outside, but from the inside, it's nice sometimes being able to lay in bed and see the night sky. So it's been nice. We've enjoyed it. This was, I haven't even unlocked him yet. This is sewer. We haven't even used it yet, so I haven't unlocked it. It is prepped for solar. Again, something else we haven't done yet, but we hope to at some point. The suitcase solar panel setups you see some people use, they plug right there. Manual stabilizer jacks. I use a power drill with a socket adapter to do those. Again, I'm too old to be doing this hand cranking. Castle Rock tires. I do not have the model number on tires. They're the stock tires that came. They're probably crap. But again, I haven't worked up the finance yet to change them out with something like Goodyear Endurances. I'd like to at some point, but haven't gotten around to it yet. 6-gallon water heater. This is direct spark ignition. Recovery time, I'll have to put it down here. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's pretty quick. I mean, I don't think we've ever run out of hot water on a trip yet. It is electric propane. We have not even used it propane yet because we have not boondocked as yet. Everywhere we've gone has been electric, so we've been able to use electric for hot water. And again, with the exception of once, we've not run out of hot water ever. Exterior television to mount here if you ever go desire. So there's your cable satellite outlet there, and power for that if you so need it. This camper came with a tray that slides right into this groove. And it also came with a low-grade gas grill that also slides into here. And then you've got a gas supply here for it. We have not used this gas outlet at all, and we have not and will not use the cheap grill that came with it. We have a better grill that we prefer, that we did not bring for this trip because we knew we were going to be here long enough to use it. I think all Rockwood Mini Lites come with that grill, so if you were to get I think the 2104 is the next model up. If you were to get anything higher than that, you'd get a grill with it. This is our little water compartment I told you about. Frameless windows, so you don't get the little black streaks that develop over time in the rain. One external speaker And for the life of me, when we bought this thing, I thought it had 2 speakers. It wasn't even until I think the last trip that I realized, wait a minute, we've only got 1 speaker. But I mean, we're not out here listening to music, so, and if we do, we've got little Bluetooth speakers, so we'll be all right with that. The one major modification we've made, we installed this RV lock, keyless replacement lock. Of course, it still takes a key but actually we have not even used the key since we've installed this thing. Big convenience more than anything else, just being able to one touch and lock as we walk out instead of having to fumble with keys. And installation was easy. I mean, I bet I had the thing installed in 10 minutes. Power awning runs the length of the RV, and porch light, which we're told is that color because it doesn't draw insects as quickly as white light does. It drew insects pretty good the very first trip we took with it, so I don't know about that. And this little LED strip, which puts off a nice glow. And this door is, I can't remember the term for it, it's gravity something. But anyway, you can't, it won't sling away from you. The way it's tensiled in the spring, in the hinges, it won't sling away and just start framing up against the side. And of course, it only goes so far before it runs up against the stopper there, but we've already found that to be neat. Screen door detaches. And then reconnects. Oh, hey, I told you I'd come up here on the roof. Let's look around, show you what all's up here, antenna-wise, vent-wise, the features of this roof, things like that. Okay, first thing I want to show you is this Max Air fan. This is the cowling over the fan. This allows you to run the fan and not worry about rain coming in if it happens to start raining. The fan is powered, of course it's multi-speed. It draws mainly moisture, odor sometimes too, who are we kidding, from the bathroom coming out through here. This roof is fully walkable. It is strutted and designed to bear the weight, which is a good thing to come up here and check your moisture seals and whatnot. 13,500 BTU AC air conditioner. This is your range exhaust. Skylight in the shower. HD television antenna. AM/FM radio antenna. And Wi-Fi Ranger. We just got this going during our Asheville trip and is mighty convenient. This is in essence a router for the camper. You configure this to connect to your Wi-Fi source, be it a campground or be it a hotspot that you have with a cellular plan, and then you have all of your devices linked to this, in essence the router, so that way you only have to link this to a Wi-Fi source when you get to a campground or or a new hotspot and whatnot. You don't have to connect all your individual devices. All your devices are automatically hooked to this. So this has been convenient the one time we used it, and I'm sure will be convenient in the future. And this is an exhaust fan that comes out of the living room over the bed. You see good seals around the nose cap and the top of the awning. Okay, now let's see if I can get back down here without breaking my neck, and we'll show you the rest of the place.
Welcome. As you see, it's a small but perfect for 2 people. It can actually accommodate 3 sleeping, but we probably will never have to supply that unless we actually have a friend that wants to come along and be in really tight quarters. So we actually have our sofa, which actually folds down into a Murphy bed, which we'll show you later. There is storage underneath, quite a bit actually. So that comes in very handy since we do not have the crawl space underneath that other RVs have or campers have, since they don't have the Murphy bed as was mentioned earlier. We have pretty good storage as far as our wardrobes are concerned. One on either side of the bed. It goes back pretty far, and we have added a hook in there for coats or hats. And this is the kitchen. We have a small sink. Wish it was a little bit deeper, but I am glad that the faucet is actually pretty tall, so that when I'm trying to fill up a pitcher or a pot, it's not a problem. And of course, LED lighting keeps everything cool. You can turn them on and off individually, or there is one unit at the control panel. I'll show you in a moment. We have the cabinets that have the hinges that won't slam the cabinet onto your fingers, which I'm very happy about. And so this is just kind of our little storage area. We have a little basket with some cups so they don't fall over, even though the husband didn't put this one away because my coffee cup's in the way. And just different storage items for leftovers or whatever. We do have the microwave, which is very convenient because we have kind of gotten used to using microwave at home. And we have an oven, propane oven. We have not used yet, not for lack of trying. I just haven't mastered that skill yet. We do have a 3-burner range. If I get this out of the way. Of course, this folds up and becomes your backsplash. So bigger pots on the front, 2 smaller ones in back. Have used that quite a bit, and really like gas stoves anyway, so I was pretty happy about that. There are places to store knives in the back, but I didn't put them out for this trip because we won't be here that long. There is a cutting board, sink cover. We have used that quite a bit as extra prep space, or just to put a drying rack for dishes on. So, but I added a hook just to kind of get it out of the way. 3M hooks are fabulous. We've also added our very fancy recycling center. Just for lack of a place to put anything, we just hung a bag that we occasionally take our bottles and cans and things to recycling to get rid of those. We do have a space heater that we've added, which we'll talk about later. As small as our camper is, it works great. We do have, regular propane heat that we'll use through the night. We don't use the space heater at night just for safety reasons. But we've used the space heater, and it saves on our propane. Thermostat is here. We do have air conditioning that works really well. We've only been able to use it one time, but we used it when we went to Lake Greenwood State Park. And the nice thing about this one is you can open these vents when you first get to your campsite when it's very hot, and it will just kind of dump cool air all throughout the camper, and then you can close it off and use the directional vents that you can, rotate and position whichever, direction you want them to face. Close them off individually if you get too cold in one spot, because there are 2 right over our bed, and it did get a little chilly. There is a vent here that we've kind of closed off for the winter, but it does that, let some nice light in when it's warmer weather. We have the really nice blinds on these windows. They just slide up and down. Great. One emergency exit window. I've added little holders for our phones, which my husband thinks is the most fabulous thing ever. While we're over here, let's check out the control panel. We do have our control panel here. This little blue light gets a little bright at night, so we have to cover it up, but it shows our tank levels of you know, how we're doing on different things. One switch for all the interior lights except for the bathroom, which we don't know why, but
go figure.
of course, you know, awning, charging station, 12 volts here, and then of course 2 USB ports. We have a 24-inch flat panel TV, entertainment package system, so you could actually put a DVD in there or play music. That still needs a little work. We're taking that back to Camping World to have them take a look at it because it's not quite working like it should. This is the power for the routing antenna on top. There is additional storage under here. Not very deep, but you know, it houses
Cabling.
that falls out. We need to work on something to hold that in there.
Close.
Another 3M hook. So storage is actually pretty good for a camper this size. These cabinets are, you know, pretty deep. I mean, it holds a skillet. My skillet wouldn't even fit in the oven and close, so couldn't store it in there. But we've utilized a lot of these little storage cubes and things to hold additional stuff so it doesn't roll around in the cabinets when we're in transit. We have found...
That's where that stuff disappeared to. I was looking for that.
Our dinette, like most campers, it will fold down. It'll make a single bed. We have not used it for a bed. We have taken the table down for transit just so it's not, you know, banging away. But the last few times we haven't even taken it down and it hasn't been a problem. There is a storage drawer, or as our dealer called it, the baby drawer, because some lady actually said it was big enough to hold a baby. Not sure about that. Don't think I want to try it, but okay.
That extra power down there, don't forget about that.
Oh, that's right.
There's power down in there.
We have, you know, the typical Dometic refrigerator, electric or propane. If we ever go boondocking at some point, then we can use that. So, you know, pretty good size. And nice freezer, which was a plus, because it's actually bigger than some dorm refrigerators have. Of course, additional storage here. I'm actually pretty happy about most of it. I mean, and this is our bathroom. The shower is actually, you know, pretty decent size with this sunlight. If you were taller than I am, which, you know, I don't have a problem with, but we would like to replace the shower head at some point. All right, we do have the medicine cabinet. Holds quite a bit. Is that I did add these little plastic containers to kind of contain everything and hold it in place as we travel. I also added the little Kleenex box holder to get it off the counter. That is, you know, we don't have that much counter space, so get it off of it if you can. Have the little drop down drawer, nice sized cabinet underneath that we keep some cleaning supplies, and of course the pods for the potty. Typical, you know, plastic toilet. You know, it serves its purpose. We were very impressed about how much space there is available for storage in this linen closet. It actually goes the entire length of this wall. So let's take a look at the bed. So this is a before. Alright, so you unlock these. Alright, then you just unhook the straps. And there you have it. Alright, and in the morning when it's time to get the bed out of the way, we just pull this little strap, pull it straight out, it unlocks the bed. Watch the fingers. And just push it back in place. And you can lock these down. And then the couch, just simple as that.
And now you know the aluminum Falcon almost as intimately as we do.
Right.
Hope you've liked this little tour of our home away from home. We've thoroughly enjoyed it. Like most things in life, there were some compromises made when we chose this, but given our situation, our tow vehicle, and our finances and whatnot, I think this was the best choice we could have made at the time. As I mentioned earlier, this model is not in production anymore, but everything else in Rockwood's Mini Lite line is very similar to this. So if you're looking at that line, looking at this is a good place to get some ideas as to what to expect in those models. This is 19 feet. I've seen campers that size, and this one advertised as being fine for small families. I don't see any small family being able to have any time out in the world in this thing and enjoy themselves. I think
not unless it's a very young child. And even then,
you better be pretty tolerant of young, because we love each other, and it's some tight fitting in there sometimes. But again, we've thoroughly enjoyed it so far. Sure, it's got some things that need addressing, and it's got some deficiencies. But on the whole, I think it's been a good choice for us for our first RV. Right. Hopefully, not our last RV. But even if it is our last RV, it'll be fine. So until next time, as we always do, we hope you keep living and learning right along with us.